Today, we're gonna learn how to build an empire. This is the map when we start, and this is the map when we finish. This episode is unfortunately very oversimplified because there's a lot to go over. Welcome to episode 2 of Egypt's recent history. Last episode, Napoleon's Egyptian campaign happened, and that shook up everything. So if you didn't see the video, then go back and check it out. So how are things shaken up? Well, back then the Ottomans, and these people called the Mamelukes, ruled Egypt. And then the French showed up and destabilized their rule. See, to kick the French out, the Ottomans had to send in troops. And they sent in a group of Albanian mercenaries. And one of these leaders from Albania was this man. It was named Muhammad Ali. So, the troops were sent in, the French were kicked out, and Egypt was back to normal again. Or was it? As I said, the French invasion seriously weakened Ottoman power. And now, they were in a struggle with the Mamelukes. Muhammad Ali worked with both sides to gain influence for himself, while also allying with the intellectuals and the religious scholars. Within 4 years, these scholars and intellectuals demanded the Ottoman Sultan that he make Muhammad Ali the wali or the governor of Egypt, and they accepted. Still though, Muhammad Ali was not in the clear. The Mamelukes were still at large. They had ruled the nation for over 600 years, and they could very well threaten his power. So what did Ali do? Well, he invited the Mamelukes to the Cairo citadel for a celebration, and while they were all there, he killed them. And that was basically the last Egypt saw of the Mamelukes. So now Muhammad Ali is basically the king of Egypt, and this king was different. See, Muhammad Ali wanted to emulate Europe's technological and military successes, especially the military successes. Ali saw that the Ottoman Empire, which had ruled the Middle East for centuries, was on its way down, and in its place, he wanted to build another empire. So what did he do? Well, the first thing he did was this. You see all this great farmland Egypt has? Yeah, he took it over. Why? Because cotton. And why do I care about cotton? Because cotton makes money, and any good empire needs money. You guys remember how in America, there was a certain group of people who wanted to not get rid of a certain thing, and they went to war over it? Yeah, that was because they wanted to sell cotton. Muhammad Ali would establish a monopoly on the land, meaning he basically owned it all. Producers would sell to the government, and the government would sell to everyone. The farmers, though, had a different experience. Anyway, besides money, to build a good empire, you need two more things. The first of which is a large military. Egypt would produce weapons, and Ali wanted to copy European militaries. This military buildup will be a bit important to us in a little bit. And then the second or third thing that he did was that he sent a lot of Egyptian students to Europe. Why? Because in Europe, they could learn about things like military technology and sociology. And then back in Egypt, Ali set up schools to teach French books and texts, which were then translated into Arabic, from which everyone can learn. This would eventually lead to the creation of the Bulaq Press, which published the government newspaper. So all of these developments in technology and education and industry, they would lead to something massive. Muhammad Ali was very much a military man, and as I said, he wanted to build up that military to build a massive empire. In order to do that though, you need to understand the international context that you're in. Back then, Europe was growing, militarily, technologically, economically, politically, culturally. The British and the French were building massive empires and creating new inventions. The Ottoman Empire, on the other hand, who ruled much of the Arab world and was the Islamic Caliphate, wasn't exactly doing great. Ali saw that the Ottomans were on their way out, and that was one reason why he wanted to build a big military, and it would pay off. How would it pay off? Around this time, on the Arabian Peninsula, there were these people called the Saudis. The Saudis had conquered Mecca and Medina and were causing a bit of problems for the Ottoman Empire. The Ottomans, though, were a bit busy, so they asked Muhammad Ali to go in and kick them out, which he did. His troops then went to the Saudi capital of Diriyah and finished them off. As we all know, however, the Saudis would make a massive comeback. Then it was Sudan's turn. Ali sent his troops into Sudan and took it over. The conquest of Sudan was a bit controversial, with Ali and his descendants being remembered as heavy-handed. It was during this expedition, however, that the Sudanese capital of Khartoum was founded. And then it was Greece's turn. Greece would be a turning point. See, Greece, up until then, was part of the Ottoman Empire, and then the Greeks revolted. The Ottomans obviously didn't like this, and they went to war. The Ottomans, though, kind of had a hard time putting down the rebellion. So the Ottoman Sultan gave Muhammad Ali a proposition. Help me fight the revolt, and in return, you get the Greek island of Crete. So Ali accepted, and sent a very expensive, large, and important naval fleet to Greece. That would turn out to be a horrible decision. Why? Because Russia, France, and Britain all saw that Muhammad Ali was gaining quite a bit of influence, so they went and sunk that large, expensive, and important fleet, and the Egyptians had to withdraw. Muhammad Ali was obviously not happy. I mean, that was quite an expensive army. So he asked the Ottoman Sultan for Syria as a compensation for his loss. The Ottomans were indifferent, so Muhammad Ali went in and took it over himself, which he did with relative ease. He went one step further, however. He entered Anatolia, and his road to Istanbul was clear. The Europeans saw all this and were not exactly happy. See, the Europeans wanted the Ottoman Empire to stay because it was weak. If there was a strong nation in that part of the world, then Russia, France, and Britain, let's just say that they would have a harder time colonizing the world. So the British and the Austrian navies launched a naval blockade on the Egyptian coast and attacked the Egyptian-controlled city of Acre. That would eventually get Muhammad Ali to agree to the Convention of London. The convention basically said that Muhammad Ali's troops would have to leave Syria, the Arabian Peninsula, and the island of Crete, and that his army and his navy would be downsized. But he and his sons and grandsons and descendants would be recognized as the hereditary rulers of Egypt and Sudan. And that would be the last major thing Muhammad Ali did. This episode was very oversimplified, just because of how much stuff there was. Muhammad Ali's rule would be looked back on positively and negatively. Some would see him as a great reformer, while others saw him as a tyrant. That's why we'll go over that legacy in the next episode. Actually, the next few episodes after that too. So stay tuned and see you then. Thank you for watching.